steel. This is going to be a hatchet drift that I've been meaning to get to for quite a while. I've had a few requests about small hatchets and stuff in my store. So I'm going to go ahead and get this drift made. I've had this piece of steel tucked over in the corner for quite a while. It's perfect dimensions. The perfect length, so it's going to be one piece. I'm not even going to have to weld a handle on it. The handle is already integrated. And this is a piece of steel. It's actually a half-inch piece of truck leaf spring. So this is the first part I've already cut off. And I've got it rigged up here in the bandsaw vise to where it's at an angle and it's cutting at an angle. So it's going to be minimal forging. I have to put it in the forge to straighten it out because it is curved. But it's going to be minimal forging. It's going to be mostly stock removal because I want to get the dimensions as close to perfect and smooth as I can. Because any dents or divots in the drift, sometimes it can give you problems with getting the drift out of the work. So I don't want the drift to be stuck. So we're going to make it as smooth as possible. I am cutting this. It's kind of put in there in an unorthodox manner, but it's getting the job done. So this is the last cut before I can take it over and straighten it out in the forge. And then we're going to go ahead and get it on the belt grinder. Probably use a 40 grit belt to get it close. I'll finish it off with a 60, and that's probably where I'll leave it. So I'll bring it back when this is done cutting. Alright, so I kind of wanted to give you a shot of the unorthodox method that I have this in the vise. I got my clamp just holding it, and it doesn't have to be a perfect angle. I'm just looking for a taper, so when this thing's done cutting out, I'll have a rough profile of where I need to be. So this is been cutting for about 15 minutes. I'm doing other stuff while this is cutting in the background, so it's not like I'm just standing here watching it. Every once in a while I come by and drop some more oil on it. So we'll let that continue to go, and about another 15 minutes it should be all the way through. So I already got the forge hot. I'm working on some knives. So here it is all cut out. The integrated handle. So now I gotta get the bow out of it. Go ahead and get it in the forge. This is gonna stink. It's gonna smoke. But it's gotta be done. Then after we get it straightened out and unnormalize it a few times, we'll be ready to take over to the belt sander. second normalization. I'm going to stop there, let it cool down, then we'll be ready to do some grinding. Okay, so I started grinding and kind of got my profile that I want. And the nice thing about this leaf spring is I got the taper going this way, but just the natural form of the leaf spring, or not the natural form, but the form of the leaf spring is tapered in this dimension. So this is making this pretty much a no forge build. And we'll go over the dimensions of the tomahawk handle that I modeled this after I get it ground up. So the only thing left to grind in it is the teardrop taper. It kind of makes it look like a teardrop. So I'm going to keep the round part here, and then I'm going to start to get the teardrop in on this side. Let's take a minute and talk about what we did. So first of all, this is the handle that I bought. Store-bought handle, just a hardware store handle. I got this at Home and Farm. Pretty much the same thing as Southern States or a True Value or something like that. So pretty generic. I actually bought this a long time ago because I noticed it was missing the wedge. And I asked the lady, I said, hey, where's the wedge? And she says, I don't know, but if you want it, I'll discount it for you. I didn't want it, I just asked her where the wedge was, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll take it. So, let's see here. I'm gonna give you some measurements on the handle. My battery's dead, so you gotta bear with me. So, at its thickest point, it's just over 7 millimeters. The battery's dead, so millimeters is going to be easier to read than hundredths of an inch. So that's just over 7 at its thickest point. And it's just over 6 up here where the wedge is going to go. So, and in this dimension, you're looking at about 17 mil this direction. So let's take some dimensions from the drift. So my drift will drift all the way up to, at its thickest point, yeah, right at 7 mil. So, and in this dimension, 18 mil. So it's pretty close. I wish it was a hair bit fatter, but I'll give it a try, see how it works. So that there is right at 6. So I got about a millimeter worth of expansion once I get the wedge in there. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I hope it's wide enough. Maybe I cut down this into the leaf spring too far. Maybe I should have not cut down so far. I kind of underestimated the thickness of the handle, so I don't know. It really doesn't get any thicker. I think at its thickest point is 7 mil, so I guess kind of a moot point. Yeah. Well, actually, that's 6 mil. I may have ground down too far, I don't know. So yeah, mine's coming in right at 6 mil thick. So I don't know, I think it's gonna have to be just something I test and see how it works and go from there. I guess I could add some metal to it if I was really concerned about it. I could weld on a couple beads and grind it down, trying to get it a little bit thicker. But yeah, I probably should have went further up on the leaf spring to get it closer to the dimensions of that store-bought handle. I mean, it's neither here nor there. I mean, the dimension's the dimension. I can work with this. Just that the eye of any hatchet that I make out of this is going to be a little bit smaller. Alright, so that really wasn't working for me. My OCD kind of kicked in, and I went ahead and welded on a couple beads for about 2 inches of the drift. I'm going to regrind this and hopefully get it a bit thicker. So I will bring you back when I get this reground, and then we'll remeasure. This was not part of the plan. Alright, so here at Metal Man Productions, I'm making all the mistakes so you don't have to. I probably should have measured a little better before I started. I really, to be honest with you, just kind of held the axe handle up next to it and thought, yeah, that's plenty wide enough. But it was probably borderline right from the get-go. I should have probably grabbed a thicker leaf spring and cut down to where I needed to be. When I last turned the camera off, you saw I came back and welded a couple beads along the top of the drift for about the first 2 inches. I just kept laying beads across it, and then I came down about 2 inches, and then I made a second pass, and then I took it back over to the grinder and ground all that off. While I was grinding it, I pretty much realized that the drift did not need to be as long as it was. That was just a complete waste. So I went ahead and trimmed that down a little bit, made the drift, I think, is going to be a lot easier to use. So we'll see. Go ahead and give you the final dimensions. So up here at my thick part, I'm coming in right at around 8 mil. And that's 7 mil right there. So between here and here, it's 8 to 7, and then of course it tapers down. And in this dimension are coming in right in at 17, so that's right where I need to be. So of course when you drift, you drift the top side, and then you flip the hatchet over and you drift the bottom side. So I got this much to go down in on both sides, so I guess technically I could probably drift a hatchet that is that wide, that I probably really don't need to do that, because what you're trying to achieve is like an hourglass shape, top to bottom, and that way the hatchet head don't go flying off when you're trying to cut something. And again, we will compare that to the handle. So at the thickest point of my handle, this is down here where it starts to really swell. That's just over 8. That's 8 right there, but that's well down into the handle. So up in here, probably where you would probably wind up seating it, it's just over 7. Right here it's a 7. Up here it's a 6. So yeah, I think what I got going on here will work. I took the long way of getting here, but it's done. I'm not going to complain about it. It is what it is. So I should have measured better, and I wouldn't have had to go on. I would have been done with this probably an hour ago and on to something else, but I think I salvaged it. I think it's going to work just fine and not give me any issues. And if it does, then at that point I'll make another one, and I don't know what I'll do with this. Turn it into something else. Probably keep it. You never know. Use it to drift something. But I think it's going to work fine. I'm not even going to go down that road yet. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by and watching me screw this up. And I hope you learned something. Measure twice. I have this bad habit of eyeballing stuff, and sometimes my eyeball gets me into a lot of trouble. And I just thought this leaf spring was a lot thicker than what it really was. And I thought I had plenty of meat here. I should have measured better. But thanks again for stopping by. Hope to get this put to use in the near future. Get my first hatchet banged out. And yeah, go from there. Have a good one.